Is 36% African American, and in 04, 34% of African Americans were part of the voting. So if you look at it, there's just simply not enough African Americans for Barack Obama to push to the polls for him to take over these large, wide.
You miss my point. Again, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, what you fail to mention each time on your videos, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, there is over 600,000 unregistered African Americans in Georgia. Okay, here's a clear example of what I was trying to tell you. Again, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, check it out. Here's the facts. Census Bureau data, for example, in North Carolina in 2004, there were approximately 3.5 million votes cast in the general election. And the Census Bureau estimates that 21.5% of those were from African Americans. This equals about 750,000 votes. So a 10% increase in African American turnout would represent 75,000 additional African American votes. You even said it yourself. African American turnout will be high this year. Okay, it goes on to say a 20% increase, 150,000 votes, and so forth. We can associate 94% of those new votes to Barack Obama and 6% to John McCain, in accord with Obama's present average among over John McCain. Okay, among black voters in recent polling. We then rerun our simulations with new votes and added in. Obama's results in various levels of turnout improvement.
Comments also said, well, he made the comment that African Americans are hard to poll, which I said, what are they hiding? What are they doing? And he said, well, they don't have a high. Basically, he said they have a high rate of non-response. That's bull.
That's bull? Well, here's something from Poster USA. Let's see what they had to say about it. More African Americans than white have caller ID, 73% versus 47%, and a higher percentage of blacks use it for call screening, 34% versus 24%. Young African Americans ages 18 to 29 are the group most likely to say they will always screen their call after caller ID. 41% say this, compared with only 12% who those age 65 or older. Here's what PPP had to say about it. The PPP report states, it says, it's harder, statistics show that it's harder to get African Americans in some ethnic groups to participate in surveys. They have a high of non-response. And it also goes on to say, African Americans are less likely than whites to respond to telephone surveys or respond to telephone calls.
East, if you look at the voting trends from the past couple of years. And he ends that, that post saying, all it takes is Obama to register a few voters and the state is competitive. Like I just pointed out, that's simply not true. He would have to register tens of thousands of more African Americans to make a big
register millions of voters between now and Election Day, and we want to build strong grassroots.
He would have to register tens of thousands of more African Americans to make a big dent in those polls.
We're going to try and register millions of voters between now and Election Day, and we want to build. John McCain's voters say they're enthusiastic. 81% of Barack Obama's voters say that. So that's going to have real impact on the election in terms of turnout. Democrats are going to be more enthused to turn out. It also has impact in terms of volunteerism and donations. And one of the reasons that we think we can build such a strong grassroots organization to build on what you've already built around the country is this.
It is pointing to an enthusiasm gap. Republicans aren't excited about calling themselves a Republican right now. So maybe they're calling themselves an independent. Maybe they're just, not identifying at all. They're just not enthusiastic. And massive enthusiasm gap between the Democrats and the Republicans.
Hey, put this in his...
Then Derek Lamar goes on to say something very interesting. I point out that a lot of racists, the majority of racists, live in the South. There's actually no way of proving that. He didn't source any information, but he said that. He says that the racists are getting sick and tired of the Republican Party, and that because McCain's illegal, and even some of those might vote for Obama.
Notice how this guy takes my comments and add little extra little things to them. I mean, where did I say that? I'm looking at it right now. Where did I say that? Where did I say that particular word? Come on, man.
So that's kind of the point there. He goes on to say that he thinks that Obama will win Virginia. Why? Because demographics has changed since 2004. It has a lot more higher educated voters and high number of college grads. Actually, in 2000, the amount of people in Virginia with a bachelor's degree was 29.5, and now in 2006 it's 27%. So
well, not factually accurate. Here's something that I went to the library to get from the U.S. Census book that comes out every year at my local library. Here's the graph here. Notice how I circled Virginia around with a red circle. Okay, Virginia's the blue line there, and then it also has other states there as well. Now, you see the red line is the 30% line right there. Notice how Virginia is high above the 30%. Now notice the recent incline of it. Now it peaked in 05 and it has went down. It's around 32%. So that 27% number, I don't know where you got that figure from, but I have to trust the U.S. Census Bureau on this because they do excellent surveys.
second claim. Black voter registration was at a lower rate nationally, 68% to 75% for whites in Florida. Only 53% of eligible blacks were registered in 2004, compared with 71% of whites. I'm not sure if that means nationally, but I couldn't find an actual number anywhere, because, and of course Derek Lamar didn't source any of his information.
You said I don't source any of my information? Well, I said according to the U.S. Census Bureau, black voter registration was at a lower rate nationally, 68 to 75% for whites in Florida. Only 53% of the eligible blacks were registered in 2004, compared with 71% of whites. Senator Obama's goal is to increase that number, and his field operation is already up and running in my state for 2 months now. He can register thousands, tens of thousands of people. He done it in Pennsylvania, okay? The campaign's goal is to register millions, all right? Now, that's what I said.
But the blacks actually had a decent voter turnout right now, and here's the thing about, if you think Barack Obama's going to win Florida because of African American vote, you're sorely
black
wrong.
Support, if it mentions here in this article here that if 95% of black voters support Obama in November, in line with the recent Washington Post ABC News national poll, he could win Florida if he increases black turnout by 23% over 2004, assuming he performs at the same levels that Democratic candidate John F. Kerry did with other voters in that year. By U.S. Census Bureau and McDonald's, because when I was making this video, god dang how long it took, because I was in McDonald's all the time. See y'all later. Subscribe to the network. Derek Lamar, baby.